cut through the chase on this. I could never get to him. I tried all I could, and I could never get to him because I was barred away from him by securities and all that type of thing. I could not get to him.
They cut you off?
That's right, Larry. They cut me off.
Do you always want a large family?
No, I just wanted a small family. In those days, some of the guys in those days, they had one baby, and then they would run off. I couldn't do that. If you have them, you work for them, bring them up the right way, stay with the family, and be a father to the family. I was a father. I think I was a good father. I raised them and I fed them and kept plenty clothes on them. We didn't have much, but what we had, we was happy with it, yes. Back then it was real hard, but I had to do it, because, hey, they had to eat.
I know you were a boxer, right?
Yes.
You used to box. And you had any other jobs back then to provide for everybody?
I knew I needed another job, so I took up a trade. It was a welding trade, a local trade stuff. I took that trade up and finished that trade and got another job as an art welder. I used to do that too, so that made me have two jobs to deal with. I worked two jobs almost 10 years. In raising those kids, I raised them close. They was able to entertain each other, and I thought that was good. They didn't have to go out there in the streets. They wasn't locked up like some of the other people or robbing people. They never did none of that stuff. When you have a bunch of kids there, your own kids, and you think of things that you need to make them, help them survive. And so my thing was entertainment.
When did music become a part of their lives? Was that a dream of yours? Was that something that you saw that could protect them even more?
Well, that came from me being involved with some type of music and things and rehearsing, and they'd be standing around listening and looking.
There must have been sacrifices.
There was a lot of instruments to buy, and they really cost a lot of money. Drums, and guitars, and amplifiers to go with them, and I had all this stuff piled up on top of the Volkswagen microbus.
And when I bought my instruments, and my wife used to sort of like scold me about buying so many instruments because I kind of want them involved with it as well. And so after them involved with the instruments, Tito used to play my guitar and all that stuff, and he learned how to play pretty good. And then the group, my wife would rehearse them a lot too. She found out they were good harmony when they sing, and the one is playing the guitar, and the one was playing the bongos and stuff. So it was making a little bit of noise.
Kate Jackson persuaded her husband, a weekend musician himself, to take over the act. A steel worker, Joe started moonlighting as his son's manager.
I decided to deal with the boys as much as I possibly can as far as rehearsing them and getting them prepared to be in show business.
Did they resent it?
Yes.
They did?
Yes.
And why did you start rehearsing with them? Why not play like a soccer team or a football team? Why music?
To make anything successful, you have to rehearse it. All your audience people, they love good entertainment. That was my idea to make Michael the best entertainer in the world. At first, Michael was not the lead. It was my mother. I think she saw him trying to sing with the rest of the groups. She said, let him sing a song. So he got up there and did some things, spinning and all that stuff, because he had been watching, the rest. He sounded pretty good, so we just stuck him in there and started rehearsing. He was the smallest at that time, and he was fast, he could move real fast on stage, and I thought this would be great, because he was all over the place. As a matter of fact, Michael, you usually couldn't keep him still at all. he was always dancing or moving, you know. But when he came into the picture, my mother says, you know, he should be leading. But Michael was always a good entertainer, such as dancing and singing, and he could do better than any of the other boys that performed with him. He thought that when he did his thing on the show with his brothers, that the show would be much better, which it was. When Michael came into the picture, the whole thing started changing because the harmony started fitting in. Catherine would work with him when I'm at work, you know, and when I got off from work, you know, still operating the crane. When I got off from work, I would rehearse them, sometimes 2 hours, you know. He was a good kid and very easy to learn. He hit one thing once, and he could really do it just like the person that he listened to doing it. And by him being that way, he was able to be Michael Jackson, but he was good on stage, and when he performed, everybody loved the way he did it because he was that good. He was doing things, spinning and dancing, all that stuff, which most, you know, most artists get on stage when they get ready to perform. It's one foot to the other one. They don't have any magic in what they're doing on stage. Mm-hmm. But Michael had it all, you know. He was learning. He must have been rehearsing a little bit, you know, off to the side when no one was looking. But he was very good dancing and spinning and doing the split, you know. Back then they were doing the split.
The James Brown split?
Yeah. Yeah.
We used to do a lot of shows around Chicago, nightclubs, you know, and
you were living in Gary then?
Right. We used to travel from Gary to Chicago in the wintertime when it was cold. We did some shows around Chicago, and then from there to Apollo, the Regal Theater.
After winning talent shows in different states and playing the Apollo Theater in New York and also the Regal in Chicago and the theaters in Philadelphia, then you know you got something there.
I had a vision it would happen, but you know, it took a lot of rehearsals and a lot of push-up forward for them to get this far. And it really was a big push. It was a hard struggle, but it paid off.
You saw magic in Michael.
I saw magic in all of them with Michael leading, leading songs, yeah. Mm-hmm. But Jermaine's a very good leader too. Jermaine, it's kind of hard to tell which one's the better singer, but I think Jermaine may be just a little bit better ballad singer than Michael is. But one thing Jermaine couldn't do, he couldn't dance and play the guitar like Michael could. I have to say this, Michael is a great singer, but Jermaine's a little better singer than Michael in ballads. Only thing is Jermaine cannot dance like Michael on stage.
Which one of your kids is the most talented one?
Let me name you 3. Right quick. It would be Michael, it would be Jermaine, it would be Janet. I don't know whether you heard Jermaine's song the other night, but you see, he's really professional.
Michael was growing up, he didn't call you Pa or Daddy, he called you Joe, right?
Right.
And he didn't allow us to call him Daddy. And I wanted to call him Daddy so bad. He said, I'm not Daddy, I'm Joseph to you, you know?
Did you want it, or because he was so respectful? I mean, how?
Well, I didn't too much care because he knew and I knew that he was my son and I was his father. Well, you had all those kids running, hollering around and hollering, Dad, Dad, Dad. You know, it gets to be, sounds kind of funny to me, but I didn't care too much about what they called me, just as long as they was able to listen to me and what I had to tell them, you know, in order to make their life successful. That was the main thing. Well, what I got a kick out of Michael is when he was small, is when I would give him his allowance, he would have these kids sitting around feeding him, you know. He loved to help. You know, he can't say no. Anybody want something from him, He would give it to them and cry later about it, but he let them have it. I know Michael always complained about he never did have a childhood.
Well, you don't get to do things that other children get to do. You know, the simple things that they so much take for granted. Having friends and slumber parties and buddies and just hanging out. There was none of that for me. I didn't have any friends when I was little. My brothers were my friends.
He had a wonderful childhood. Why I say that? Because his childhood, he was there with his brothers and sisters. He always played with them. I just didn't want him out there playing with the kids and stuff that always in the trouble. Mm-hmm. And they were, some of those kids are in prison. Some of them are dead. And mine just never was that. Well, I had to be like that way because during those times it was hard and you had a lot of gangs there, you know, in the area where we were living.
This is Gary in Indiana.
Gary, Indiana, and I had to make sure that they didn't get in any type of trouble and things of that sort. When you have kids like, you know, a lot of kids, you have to make sure that they stay out of trouble because they never was in jail, they didn't want no drugs or nothing, you know, and they didn't fool with no alcohol, drinks and all that. So they were just good kids, raised good, because they had a strict father. And the mother spanked them more than I did, because when I did, I got, you know, they got on me about it, but when she spanked them, because I wasn't at home with them as much as she was, because I had to work 2 jobs.
And when he said in a few interviews, I never had a childhood, what does he mean?
When I was little, it was always work, 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 from one concert to the next. If it wasn't concert, it was the recording studio. If it wasn't that, it was TV shows or interviews or picture sessions. Mm-hmm. It was always something to do.
Well, I think what he meant that he could never run the streets and do like the rest of the kids. But he did have a childhood. He had all his brothers there. And there was a lot of them around every night. He had them to play with, but all the outside of the kids was getting in trouble every night. That wasn't there. It wasn't allowed to happen. So he did have a childhood, but he didn't have a childhood with all the bad guys that run the streets, bad kids.
You know, in those days, kids was real bad. And the parents should have made sure, what I did, made sure that my kids was good kids. Made sure that they understood what I was trying to do.
In being strict, you were able to control. And in being able to control while they was all in one place, we knew what it was at all times. I was able to rehearse them a lot. Once I started rehearsing them, and kept them busy, learning different songs and dances and all that stuff, it started paying off. So I don't think being too strict I was, but being too strict, no.
I'm glad I was tough, because look what I came out with. Mm-hmm. I came out with some kids that everybody loved all over the world. And they treated everybody right. You know, Michael, he was a nice guy, but under the world don't know anything too much about Michael as far how he was brought up. Mm. But he was brought up, I made sure that he respected the older people, yes.
A good father, stick by the kids, make sure they got plenty to eat. I did all of that. Make sure that the talent that they have, try to help them develop it. I did all of that. And look what he got.
Didn't he once say that you were physically, emotionally abusive to him?
I've never been abusive to him. Never have.
But did he say that? Did he ever say that, to your knowledge?
Well, I don't know whether he said that or not, but I hear the media keep hollering about abusing him. I never abused my son.
Did he ever beat you? Yes, he did. Yes. And that was difficult to take, getting beaten and going on stage and performing. Yes. And why would he beat you? Because he saw me, he wanted me to, I guess maybe, I don't know if I was his golden child or whatever it was. some may call it a strict disciplinarian or whatever, but he was very strict, very hard, very stern. And just a look would scare you.
I don't think he realizes to this day how scared. I mean scared. So scared that I would regurgitate.
You would vomit?
Mm-hmm.
When would you vomit? What would produce that sort of reaction in you?
His presence. Just seeing him.
Were you scared of him? Very frightened. There's been times when he'd come to see me and I would get sick. I'd start to regurgitate.
As a child or as an adult?
Both. He's never heard me say this.
Your son Michael said in a recent interview that he was frightened of you. He says that he was so frightened of you sometimes that he would be sick. Is that true?
Well, I just knew about that when I heard him mention that on TV on the Oprah Winfrey show. I didn't know anything about him being sick, but regurgitating. But if he did regurgitate, he regurgitated all the way to the bank,
You never physically harmed him?
Never have. And I raised him just like you would raise your kids, But harm Michael for what? I have no reason. That's my son. I loved him.
Say, let's get into this beating thing. There's no such thing as beating a kid. You whipped them and punished them for something they did, and they will remember that. So they remember in such a way they wouldn't do it again. That's the way I was.
A beating come from the slavery days, when they used to beat the slaves, because when the slaves tried to run for freedom or something, they grabbed them and beat them and tortured them, True. You know where this beating started? The beating started in the slavery days. They used to beat the slaves, and then they used to torture them. That's where this beating started, at these slave masters. And they beat them with just about anything they get their hands on, put scars on them and all that type of thing. And that's the difference between beating, and that's where it came from in the slavery days by the slave masters.
It was something that
I don't believe
did,
there's
right?
nobody walking that didn't spank their kids when they needed spank. There's a lot of people in America, Larry. A lot of people in America spank the kids, If they say they don't, they're lying. They're lying. And Michael was never beaten by me, never beat at all.
You're on record.
He also said, I love my father, but I don't know him.
I love my father, but I don't know him. I don't know him the way I'd like to know him. My mother's wonderful. To me, she's perfection. I just wish I could understand my father.
What do you have to say about that?
Well, I can't help it because he don't know me. One of the things that he should know is that I was there from the beginning. I raised him. I worked 2 jobs to keep food on the table. It wasn't easy to support 9 kids. And I did all these things and kept them with instruments and rehearsed them too, to be entertainers. He should know me, but I don't know why he don't.
People keep thinking that the family is separate, but that's not true. What happened was I had arranged with making dates for Africa. I was going to tour all over Africa with my boys. So they had said they were going to send a plane here, and I wanted the J5 on the plane and all that stuff. So, to show it off a little bit. That's promotion anyway. Send a plane from Africa to pick up the Jacksons? Well, it didn't work. Somebody talked Michael out of it, and we didn't get a chance to pull it off. From that point on, they started setting other dates up for Michael doing the same Jackson's shows as what the brothers was doing.
Like all the kids, when they reach a certain age, they want to do things on their own, all that sort of thing. But one thing I do admire that if there's any advice needed be, they always know the way back to the parents, give some kind of direction. As far as managing the kids, I was there until the contract expired. When
from his directions. Michael was doing his own thing, and the other Jackson was writing songs with the people, I guess. But Michael was still going on. That's what separated him from the rest, because of people talking, you know. They probably told him, I'm not for sure with this, but I'm saying what they probably told him, that he could make more money just by touring himself. You don't have to slice the pie, those many slices, you know.
I think about the times when we all worked together real hard and tried to perfect everything we was trying to do. But when we got to a certain point, what we were trying to do looked like it was a divide and conquer situation. Looked like they would begin to separate each member of somebody away, particularly me, away from the family type.
Well, naturally, you know, that you saw some things that was going down that you wouldn't want to happen, but it happened, like separation of the kids and all that, doing different things. But there's nothing you can do but just take it as it comes, and feel free to give them advice if they need it.
Who are they? Who are the people that you felt tried to separate you from your children?
Well, you got different types of managers out there that attorneys and accountants, and they enter it for their own gain, and they figure that, say for instance, you have a leader of a group, the main leader, and the first thing they try to do, especially if he's real popular over the world, first thing they try to do is separate from the rest of the group.
We knew that the success would be all over the world, because it never stopped. It just stopped climbing and climbing and climbing with it. There's a lot of entertainers in the world, but there ain't no lot of entertainers can do a show. They just get up there and sing. You have to have them both going. You have to be able to do your singing and also be able to have a show with that singing. And that's Michael. You notice his show is just as good as his singing, yes.
A lot of people felt, here's a man in his 40s, mid-40s, having sleepovers with young boys. And most people would think that's inappropriate. Michael wasn't a normal guy. Everybody knows that. But did you ever worry that the perception of what he was doing wasn't good for him or his image?
Pierce, Michael was a big old kid himself. He was still had the mind of a kid. But he loved kids so much, and things that they didn't have, he tried to help them to have it.
No, it's nothing. You can hug a kid behind a closed door. Well, there's nothing wrong with hugging a kid or nothing. But they so, I don't know what you call it here in America. You can't hug a kid, you can't spank him or nothing. You can twist anything when you want to. The media, they can twist anything they want to. Don't care if they don't like you, they're gonna try to fix it so you can fall down with it.
Have you noticed that every time Michael got ready to release an album, this is before this came up, they were always talking about it. Every time he got ready, but something bad came out in the press, sleeping in oxygen tent. Wasn't it oxygen tent?
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
And the other things of it, they were so hyped up on his cosmetic surgery that he had done on his nose.
Or the bones that he collected from the elephant.
All this is not true. Anything to try to discredit him.
And as the father of the church,
I'm gonna cut through this chase right here. Do you know how many Jewish people have plastic surgery done? More than anybody you want to say?
We never complain about the Caucasian people going out in the sun, laying up in the sun, trying to get dark. We don't complain. The reason they doing that is because they want to be darker. They don't like that color they carry.
They're not trying to be black or anything.
Yeah, they're not trying to be black. They just want to be darker.
You know what? I think the people that's calling them, they wacko themselves. Because they should look on...
You're getting upset about that.
Yes, I am getting upset because they should... It's two sides. They look on the other side of the story.
But it makes me awful mad. You know, make me want to get my boys and go find some of these people. You know, and bring them back so law enforcement can do their job. You know.
Yes.
But But
You felt that kind of anger?
I
Where
felt
you
that
wanted to really go out on the street and get these people?
go and bring them back and get them straightened out. Something's wrong here because it seems as though no one pays attention to all the bad things that's happening to us.
Are you saying that it's deliberate? Are you suggesting that this is a deliberate attack against your son?
We're not saying the world is, but it could be one person. Could be one person.
It could be, like my son Tito said, it could be one person.
It is racism. It is. Catherine's not going to say it, but I will say it. It is racism.
You think if Michael were white, it wouldn't have happened?
If it's racism, what do you say? I just said it's racism.
Do you think if he's acquitted, he can resume his career?
Of course. Daphne, the United States.
What did you say, Daphne?
I think this is just the United States. All the rest of the countries, all over the world, are very, very proud of Michael. It's here we have the most trouble out of it. Everybody out here, Daphne, comes up to me and said, "Joe, we're with you on your son," and say he's a nice kid, and we've been watching him all these years, and he's been raised right. We're with you 100%. That's what they think. That's what they say. He has helped so many people, grown people, kids. He gives to all kind of charities and things that never hits the news. And that's the only thing I worry about because no one never knows how much he does.
Do you think, Joe, you could have prevented all this by having, father to son conversation and look?
I might have could have prevented some of it by teaching him not to trust nobody, because Michael trusts a whole lot of people, and the ones that he trusts, hey.
During Michael's trial, for the sex abuse trial, and you walking with him, outside almost every day to that courthouse, there was a real sense of pride on your face, and it was like you were protecting your son at a moment where he really needed it.
Yeah, but by being there when he needed me, that was support I was giving him, and that was support that he needed to know that I was there for him. And that's what I did. I was there all those times, of course.
Joe, I've not heard the answer to this. How did you learn of Michael's passing?
Well, I learned that by some of the fans, I got a call, Pierce. I got a call from a fan, and this is Mr. Jackson. Say, something is wrong. Say, I see an ambulance there at Michael's place, and the ambulance took off, and the fire department is following the ambulance. Something is wrong. They called me and they told me that the ambulance was leaving Michael's house. It looked like it was headed towards the hospital, and he said the fire truck was following the ambulance, and they said we are following the fire truck. That's how I learned.
Did you turn the TV on right away?
No, I did not. I was trying to find out more other things, about the fans and that sort of a thing.
Here at the BET Awards, Joe Jackson makes his first public appearance since the death of his son, Michael Jackson. He and a slew of other celebrities are mourning the loss of the King of Pop.
That's a good thing, because I just wish that he could have been here and celebrated him himself, but so sadly that he's not here, so I'm here to celebrate for him.
Joe Jackson joins us here tonight. How you doing, sir? How's the family holding up?
I'm great. My family's doing pretty good.
Yeah?
Yes, they are.
You want to tell the last couple of days? I know it's been really tough for you guys.
And? Yeah, it has. It has been really tough. Remember, we just lost the biggest star in the world, superstar in the world, so it's been tough.
It's known that people grieve in different ways, but some Michael Jackson fans are questioning the actions of Joe Jackson.
Right now is not the time to kind of plug, make a little plug of yourself. It's about Michael.
At Sunday's BET Awards, Joe Jackson talked about launching a new record company.
You said your wife is what about Janet and the rest of the family, the daughters and everything?
They're all doing fine, but I want to make this statement. This is a real good statement here. Marshall and I we owned a record company called
Ranch Records. Right. Okay, distributed by Blu-ray technology. Yeah. And that's his next step.
And he again discussed the label at a news conference Monday.
What I'm doing is I established a record company with Marshall, and the company is called Marantz Record, distributed by Blue Star and Blu-ray. Yeah. So we have a lot of good artists fixing to come out.
That Joe Jackson would use such an opportunity for self-promotion has struck some Jackson fans as inappropriate.
He's self-promoting. I mean, it's typical Joe Jackson. I mean, I can see why Michael was at a distance from.
I think the fans more than anything want to focus on Michael. We don't want to hear the negativity. We don't want to hear anybody plug in their record label. We don't want to hear whose album's dropping when.
We know that we do have fans all over the world. We know that we are loved all over the world. But one thing that I wish could have happened, I wish that Michael could be here to see all this, have to wait till something happened like this before it could be realized.
There are floral tributes throughout the property, each of them in memory of Joe Jackson's 50-year-old son, Michael, like this one. Atop a bed of carnations, a single white glove, acknowledgement of a mother's grief. For the first time since Michael Jackson's death, Joe Jackson answers all questions exclusively. How has Catherine been holding up through all this?
She's taking it real hard. When you start talking about Michael, she started crying, you know. Catherine is taking it very, very hard, you know. She's really, really taking it harder than I ever seen her take anything, yes. We're taking it pretty hard, and especially Catherine, but we'll get through. Well, I took it very hard, but, I'm sort of a tough person myself, but I took it very hard, but I didn't let nobody know about it. Yes. Well, I'm telling them all the time, this happens to everyone. So they got to be strong and try to live through all of what's going on.
Isn't it hard to accept?
Accept what, Larry?
That your son is gone.
Of course. It's very hard. It's not just me, it's so hard for the whole family and the world. Because Michael did so much for the whole world. And which he never was, the people never give him his just due with the things all the things that he has done. Sorry, I feel like he is here. I can't feel that he's gone. Because I dream about him all the time, and it just happened just like that. All of a sudden he was okay, then next he's out of here. And I feel bad about that.
What do you miss most about him?
I'm not seeing him perform, the rehearsing, things of that sort. But Michael rehearsed all the time.
Okay. Jermaine talked to me about seeing Michael's body and saying goodbye. Did you get a chance to say goodbye?
Yes, I said goodbye to him when he was up there in front of us, And I said, I'm saying goodbye to him now.
But you didn't get to see the body or say anything?
No, I did not.
To the remains?
No,
Do you wish you could have?
I could have, but I wanted to see Michael. I want to remember Michael alive because I didn't want to see him. I didn't want to see him laying up in a casket. No. I wanted to remember him live and dancing on stage.
Do you expect to be asked about burial?
Well, they could ask me.
Do you expect to be included in the decision?
Yes, I do expect a lot of things, but a lot of things you expect don't never happen.
Where is Michael's body?
I don't know. You have to ask somebody that knows. I don't know. All I know,
You're the father.
I was at the memorial, and where they took it from there, I have to find out. I'll let you know later, Larry.
Okay, but as the father, one would think you would have the most imminent right to know.
I do have that right.
Well, how isolated was he? Because we would hear stories that family members couldn't get to him. Janet tried to reach out to him in Las Vegas and had to go through people.
Yeah. They kept him away just like they did Howard Hughes. And that's what I call divide and conquer. They're saying that he's worth more dead than living. Wow. So that's what I'm dealing with now.
Well, they treated him like Howard Hughes, you know. They had a motive to keep family away, but I guess.
Do you think he needed you before he passed? Was there
yes,
a time?
He did. I tried so hard. But there was people around him.
The saddest part about the whole thing was Michael tried to reach me. He says, call my father. This is before he passed. He would know how to get me out of this. But they didn't get in touch with me. They said they couldn't find me, but I was right there. Now what bothers me, when he called for my help, I couldn't help him.
Let me ask you a question. If you were in Michael's life, would he still be alive today?
Of course. I had told some people, some friends, that if I don't get to Michael, he ain't gonna be here long. I said that. He won't be with us long. And I called the shot to the T. That's exactly what had happened. Michael said to himself that he would be killed, and he told his mother that. Because he's afraid that, he was afraid to even do all of these shows because he was afraid that he wouldn't get a chance to finish all those shows. Because he couldn't. You don't do all those shows back to back. Even his kids say that he had told them that he would be murdered.
Joe, did you talk to Michael about drug use?
No, I did not.
Why not?
I never got a chance to.
I'll go back to, you're his father. If you pick up the phone and you call your son and you're worried about him and you know he's had some problems with this, why wouldn't you counsel him?
Larry, I'm going to cut through the chase on this. I could never get to him. I tried all I could, and I could never get to him because I was barred away from him by securities and all that type of thing. I could not get to him.
They cut you off?
That's right, Larry. They cut me off. We call it divide and conquer. So they tried to keep a distance between him and I, or him and his mother and I. But sometimes I break through those barriers and get upset, and I just do it anyway, you know. But hey, that's the way it is with the people that's around him. The last time I spoke with Michael was at a rehearsal that he was getting ready to go. So I had gotten up to the apartment, and I went inside the apartment, and he didn't know I was there. And so when he was just singing in the bathroom, and then he walked through and said, "How did you get in here?" I said, "I'm Joe Jackson. That's how I got in here." Yeah, but you know, I got in. I got a chance to talk to him.
Was it a special talk? Was it a good talk?
Yeah. I was working on a star for him, you know, in Hollywood, and also a star at the Palms, which is, I got it done, but you know, he passed. He left us before the star was put down. Yes. I wish he could have seen it.
The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Michael Jackson's last will, drafted in 2002, isn't believed to include his father.
Are you surprised, Joe, that you were left out of the will?
Well, I wasn't too surprised because, you know, that's what he willed. That's the way he wanted it. And it's not going to hurt me. But I was left out of the will, but it happened. And I can't
worry about it. Were you estranged from Michael?
Well, he left it to his mother, you know, as much as he could, and I figured that she's pretty fair a lady to be able to be fair with everything about the will.
So do you have anything that you want to say to Michael?
Yeah, I can say this because Michael is a very, very big superstar, and he's my son. I want to say to him, I love him, Now, and he's a Michael. It look like it's a pick on all of Michael. Michael Tyson, Michael Jordan, then Michael Jackson, my son. And please, we got to stick together. This is behind him 100%.
How would you like your son to be remembered throughout the world?
Well, as you know, that since this tragedy has happened, I would like him to be remembered forever, all over the world, which we know that all over the world, everybody was supporting him at the moment.
He was the greatest star in the world, and too bad he had to be passed away like he is, and the world didn't recognize him when he was living. All of my family is famous and known everywhere, and I've been known all over the world. And when I say everywhere, I mean all over the world. And I want them to keep it up, and I hope they will.
How do you want people to remember you?
Well, I want them to remember me as the father who raised 9 kids, took care of them when they was never had any trouble. They was raised to respect everybody. They was not prejudiced against no one. And I was the guy, and me and my wife and I put it like that. We did the best job that we could do, and I think we did a good job. See, if everybody was like Michael, there wouldn't be no wars and nothing. Everybody would get along, but we don't need to have wars.
Something came up the other day. There's so many stories, so many things, but the other day was that Michael may have had another child. It's Omar is his name. And then everyone's like, oh, he was sitting right there next to Reby, and everyone's trying to connect some dots. Did you know that as Michael's other son?
Yes, I knew he had another son. Yes, I did.
And he looks like a Jackson.
Oh, yes. He looks like a Jackson. He acts like a Jackson. He can dance like a Jackson. It's just that. This boy's a fantastic dancer. Matter of fact, he teaches dance. Yes.
So maybe he's the future of the team.
I don't know. I can't say that yet until I see it happen.
I appreciate it.